Hello everyone, and welcome to the Fake Bake Diaries. Today I'm channeling my inner haunted mansion. I decided to take one of the ghosts from the haunted mansion. His name is Ezra, and in the spirit of the haunted mansion, I created my own haunted manor sign. So come and join me and learn how to make this amazing outdoor sign.
Crafting all night long with Tammy. Spooky projects feel so jammy. Fake Bake Diaries, our delight. Halloween, we own the night.
Here I have a twin headboard. It's an old one that I purchased from Facebook Marketplace. This is the back of it. It's flipped over onto the front right now. If something has a glossy finish, you should rough up the glossy surface so that your paint will be able to stick to it. This headboard has been roughed up with a 180 grit sanding sponge. When you're sanding, do your best to get into all of the little tight areas, like right in here, because you really want your paint to stick. Both sides have been done. Then I wiped it off with a damp rag to take all of the dust off so the paint will stick. Now I'm going to use this black satin spray paint, and I know that it says that there's no sanding required, but I've done this enough times to know that I'd rather be safe than sorry. I don't want to do this whole project and then find out my paint is going to peel after. Now I'm going to spray paint all of it.
I heard a whisper in the dark, so late. A creak, a crack. Footsteps dancing on the ceiling high. Ghosts are throwing parties in the midnight sky. They're in my fridge for cherry pie. They laugh, they howl, they never say ghosts in my house, oh they're living rent-free, flowing through the holes, sipping ghostly tea. They got oohs that'll make you shout. Ghosts in my house, they're the life, no doubt.
So Ezra's all primed. When I sat to pick out the colors, I realized that I wanted his face and hands to give off a little bit of a glow. In order to do that, I had to give another top coat of white primer on top of the gray primer. Had I originally chosen my paint colors first, I would not have had to come back and do this extra step. Now I've taken a couple of bottles, I think 3 bottles of this acrylic paint from the dollar store, and I've mixed it in with a couple of bottles of white acrylic paint from the dollar store. I've ended up with this lovely light teal color. I'm going to use that to paint his head, his hands, and underneath his hat. Okay, let's get started. I have the first coat on. I want to paint the eyes more yellow and maybe even a bit of yellow on the teeth to make them a different color from the rest of the face. So I'm going to move off camera, find myself some yellow, and then I'll be back for the rest of the body. This is what I created on Canva, and it is being projected through this projector onto my sign. That will show me exactly where I need to place my letters. Now I'm going to take this Deco Art Gold Metallic and start painting directly onto my sign.
It's that time of year, cold orange is here, shelf stock full of fright, decor in orange light. Crafters hustle and race, pumpkin spice embrace, witch hats and candy corn, spooky things adorn. Cold orange, let's go, haunted dreams on show, goblins in the aisles making spooky smiles. Ghosts and ghouls we make, Props and crafts we bake, skeletons and more. Halloween decor, Halloween's in sight. Craft till morning light. Spiders on the wall, creepy fun for all. Crafters hustle and race, pumpkin spice embrace, witch hats and candy corn.
I put on my first coat of gold. It's looking pretty good. I'm going to let this first coat dry. For the second coat, I won't need the projector. I'm just going to go over top of what I have here. Once this first coat is dry, I'm going to come back and work on the Haunted Manor letters. My first coat of the gold is dry. You can see I need to go over it a second time. I'd like these letters to be raised from the side. First, I'm going to do a basic tracing of these letters with pencil right on the back of this board. Then I'm going to take this piece of styrofoam, tape it up, and carefully trace the outside of the letters with a marker. I'm tracing in pencil right on the sign itself so that after I count my styrofoam letters, I'll know where to place them and I won't need to use my projector anymore. Unfortunately, I won't be able to film this part because I need the room as dark as I can get it. So I'll show you what it looks like after I'm finished. I traced all of the letters and I'll take the styrofoam off. This yellow tape is Frog's painter tape. It's meant for delicate so that it doesn't pull your paint off. You still have to be careful when you're taking everything off. You can see these lines here are pencil marks, just a place holding where I want to put my letter in. So far, it's looking great, and I'll be back for the next step. He's coming along great, starting to look really good. I have my second coat. His teeth are a little bit green and his eyes have one coat of this paint on it here. This is fluorescent yellow. I used it on his eyes. Remember, his eyes had a white base, so it looks pretty yellow. His teeth, I had already painted the teal. I dry brushed some of the yellow over the teal, and I like that because it gives them two different colors and it looks kind of creepy. I'm waiting for the yellow eyes to dry to put a second coat on those. I won't be putting a second coat on the teeth. Now I'm going to work on his jacket and his tie. For that, I'm using purple. Again, these are acrylic paints from the dollar store. I have a nice dark, deep purple and a lavender. This is the dark purple. I haven't mixed anything in it at all. This has a mix of these two together, but more of the dark purple. And again, these have a mix of these two together, but more of this lavender. And this one is called African Violet. So I have 3 shades of purple. I'm going to use this dark purple for his jacket. Now these two here, I'm deciding on where exactly to put them. I know for sure they'll go on his tie, but I have to decide which color will look best as the base color and then which color will look better for highlighting. Once I get the base coat on of the colors that I want, then I'll go around again and mix and match these colors and dry brush highlights on it. All right, let's get to it.
In a small town down the highway where the fields are all aglow, folks gather around for fun times, watching autumn leaves below. October brings the challenge, where neighbors go all out to show off creepy decor and fill the town with shouts. The Smiths hung rubber cobwebs, they got ghosts upon their...
My letters are all traced out on my styrofoam, and now I'm going to use my hot knife to cut the letters out.
The millers built a graveyard with zombies rising high, while Mrs. Lee's old scarecrow winks with a glowing eye. It's the Haunted Yard Showdown every October night, with witches and with goblins giving us a fright. Skeletons and monsters lurking in the dark. It's the Haunted Yard Showdown. Who's got the spookiest spark? Billy down the street now, he's got skeletons that sing. They harmonize to bluegrass.
All of my letters are cut out. Mine aren't very straight everywhere because I use the hot wire stick. You can get these wonderful hot wire tables that you can use, and these would be perfectly smooth all the way around. Some people are great with a knife carving them out. This was the easiest for me, so I'm going with that. Next thing I'm going to do is take them outside and give a very quick light sanding to some of these edges. I'm not sanding everything straight. I just want to get some of these rough edges off. After that, I'm going to be using my Hotwire Foam Factory exterior foam coat. This one is specifically meant to be exterior. I'm going to mix this and coat my letters on here to give them an exterior coating. My first coat is going to be a watered down scratch coat. Then I'm going to put on a second coating that's just a little bit thicker. I want these to be durable for outside, and that's how I'm going to do it. So I'm headed outside to sand these and then put the exterior foam coat on.
I hear the floorboards creak at night. A shadow dances in the light. My socks go missing left and right, but I don't mind. They're alright. Ghosts in my house.
My coating's on for my letter M. I did not coat the back because I want it to dry. I will coat the back later. This will be dry in an hour for me to put a second coat on. I'm going to go off camera and do this to each of my letters, allow them to dry, put a second coat on, allow that to dry, and then I'll do the backs of the letters.
Soon they're not ashamed. My cereal box, it spells my name, but it's so fun.
Now I'm painting them an antique white / bone color. I'm using this as my color match, which is the Folk Art Vintage White, and it's quite close to this here. Now I ran low on white, so I have one container that's a bit warmer and one that is much closer to the bone white. So I'm using this as my base below. Once these have all dried, I will go over top with one coat of the lighter vintage color. I'm going to put the second coat on and I'll be back once they dry. My letters are all dry. That worked out well. I can leave this bone color and they will stand out nicely on my sign, but I want to tie it a bit more into Ezra. So Ezra, I used the teal and I lightened up the teal. I don't want to go too matchy with it. When I was at the dollar store last night, I found the mint. Mint is what I originally wanted for Ezra's face and hands, but the dollar store was out of them at the time. So this is lovely. It's a beautiful mint. It would have been perfect for his face. The light teal is beautiful as well. So that being said, I am going to use this for the letters. I'll take a brush and dry brush some areas on the letters. I'm going to tie them in a bit more with Ezra in that blue, green, turquoise, mint color scheme. These are all dry brushed. They now have a little haunted and glowy vibe to them during the day. I like them. There's a couple of coats of paint on here, so I'll leave it till tomorrow morning. I'll let these completely dry overnight and we're back to it tomorrow. Right now I'm putting an indoor-outdoor coating using Duraclear gloss varnish. This is for indoor-outdoor, but it is not a UV protectant, so just keep that in mind. In this container, I've mixed that with Hemway's Glow in the Dark glitter. I'm putting a layer on top of my letters. It goes on really easy. I chose the gloss varnish because it allows the glitter to shine through. If you use a matte varnish, you're going to take the glitter away from the glitter. I don't want this all glittery. I just want it to look a little glistening. I love this Duraclear. It just goes on so super easy and it's dry in 15 minutes. So I'm putting on this coat. I'm going to let it dry for 15 minutes. After that, I'm going to turn off the lights in here and see how it's glowing. Now, if you haven't used glow-in-the-dark paint or glitter, it does need to charge in bright light. Right now, with all these lights For filming, this is perfect bright light to charge up the glitter and see how it goes. When it's outside, the sun should be able to charge it, or I can use a black light and it'll show up. It goes on fast and easy. Put it on nice and thin. If you're doing this with glitter, go less glitter on your first round. You want to see what it's going to look like. If you need more glitter, dump more glitter in for a second round, or if you just need a little bit more, put one more coat until you reach the point where you like the glisten on it. I'm going to go off camera, finish these up, and I will be back to show you how my letters turned out. My letters are all finished and I really like them. Right now, I placed them on top of my sign. They're not glued on. Because it was difficult to estimate how thick they would turn out, I ended up underestimating that. If I had to go back, I would move this down to make sure that I had enough room to put Haunted Manor in the middle of the sign. To glue the letters on, I'm going to use this E6000. It's for indoor-outdoor surfaces and has UV protectant. I knew there would be gaps and that these would not lay exactly flush to the wood. I'm going to try to have my glue squeeze out a bit on the edges to make a bit of a seal all the way around the letters. To use this adhesive, I have to put the adhesive on the back of the letters, put it down where I want it, take it off, let it sit for 5 minutes, and then put my letter back on the sign. I'm going to do this one word at a time. So I'm going to start with Haunted, then move to Manor, and then do Inn. It's looking really good. I am super happy with it. And I'll be back to show you the finished result with these glued on. I finished dry brushing Ezra. He's looking pretty good. There's inside his hat. So he's all dry brushed. That didn't take long at all. Now for my next step, I'm going to be using my Dura Clear gloss varnish. I can mix this in with this Hemway glow-in-the-dark glitter. I want to add a little bit of glitter to make the glitter catch the sun during the day and give a little sparkle at night. It will only go on his face, his hands, a little bit on the hat, and that's it.
We search for crafts, Halloween's coming fast. Tammy's got the tricks and treats, making goals out of foam sheets. Fake big diaries on the screen, glitter which is quite the scene. Glow in the dark apples too, sweet clay ghosts for me and you. Crafting all night long with Tammy, spooky projects feel so jammy. Fake diaries, our delight. Halloween, we own the night. Sparkling stripes on witches' hats, pumpkin pies and skeleton bats, creepy spiders made of wood. Tammy tips are just so good. Candy corn and plastic eyes, fake big diaries, no surprise. Bring the spooky to our home with craft ideas we'll never own. Crafting all night long with Tammy, spooky projects feel so jammy. Fake diaries.
This will take about 15 minutes to dry. While this is drying, I will keep my eye open for any drip. Now I have this luminous color glow in the dark. It goes on pretty clear, but it will match his eyes. If you're using glow in the dark, put on thin coats at a time. I'll put on for sure 2 coats and I'll see how it goes. And I know I have a green one. Oh, this one here. And I'm going to run that across his teeth.
Snake in the apple, coiled so tight, hiding.
I'm going to set this aside for 15 minutes. And from there, I'll be able to see how much glitter is on there and whether I need more or not. In order for the glow in the dark to work, it needs to be charged up under bright light or outside in the sun. And I'm under bright lights right now. So I'm going to put them aside under a bright light over here, let them charge and dry. I can turn the lights off and see where I am and whether I need more glitter or how many more layers of glow in the dark paint I need around his eyes or on his teeth, or if I want it anywhere else. I'll find out when I turn the lights off. I have a few of these spray bottles from the dollar store. Now that my letters are glued on, I'm going to go outside and weather this a little bit. I'd like it to look aged and weathered, and it needs to be a little bit spooky as well. This one has water in it, and I have some paints that I'm going to use. I'm going to mix 3 different colors and layer those colors on top of each other to get a more realistic aged look. For my first layer, I'm going to take white and a little bit of black to make gray. That looks good. I'm going to use this leaf green. I'd like this color to look a bit more like moss, so I'm going to add a black to darken this up. Always start with a drop at a time, especially if you're mixing dark colors, because it'll change your color very quickly. Now I'm going to take burnt umber and add a little bit of red to it. You can use whatever colors you want. Now I'm going to take the paints and pour them into individual spray bottles with water to make them very watery. I'm also going to bring out one more spray bottle that only has water in it, and I'll use that water to remove any excess paint if I happen to put too much in one area. I'll use the water spray to water those colors down. Okay, let's head outside.
Kitchen late last night, planning mischief under moonlight, crafting up a spooky tree, fake poison apple can't be beat. Witches cackle, eyes so wide, magic brewing on the side. Apple red and toxins fake, little kids' hearts gonna quake. Mix it right for a bit of Halloween fright. Ghoulish apple tastes so sweet, fake poison makes it neat. Glossy finish, eerie sheen, scariest snack you ever seen. Crafting marvels for the night, giving tricks a spooky bite. Just stir it slow, make it shimmer, make it glow.
My torches have been primed and spray painted with this copper hammered spray paint from Tremclad. They look great. So being dried brush on top of this, I have a mixture of paint. It's a reddy brown. The combination of this deep red, I put the deep red in first, and then I added burnt umber until I was satisfied with the color. Once that dries, I'm going to go over it with this full cart. The color is called patina. Adding these colors together will add a lot more interest and depth.
Under Paris moonlight, she walks with a dog. Ghostly Emma so bright, through fog and the smoke. Every night without fail, through cobbled streets, whispers tell her tale of footsteps and feet. She's a ghost with a smile, walks her dog every mile. In the dark of the night, a sight so bizarre yet right. After strolls through the park, up the timeless stair, dog and ghost leave a mark in the cool autumn air. At home on a screen bright, Tammy shines on the stage. Fake baked diaries light, Emma's nightly wage. She's a ghost with a grin, walking streets with her kin, dog beside her each night, in shadows that feel so right.
These are the flames from the tops of the torches. I've painted them with a couple of coats of this neon yellow acrylic paint. Now I'm going to take this pumpkin orange and deep red from the dollar store and give it a dry brush to add some depth. I'm going to leave them to dry and we'll continue on with the next step. This is how they turned out. On top of that, I'm going to protect it with this Varathane. This is crystal clear. It's not going to yellow on you. And it also provides UV protection as well as protection from the wetness that I need in the fall. I'm going to go off camera, head outside and coat it with the Varathane. I'll see you when it's all finished. Well, here it is, almost all finished. To mount the torches, my husband cut a piece of plywood. I painted it. You can see we had to adjust the hole. Inside of here is a dowel that is glued inside of here. If this breaks or if I ever need to remove it, I can unscrew these bits, take that off, and put on another one. Now that this is on, I'm going to glue around the edges so that this is flush with this piece of wood. This one is already glued on. Now, it would have been ideal if there was a right hand and a left hand for the torches, but it still looks great. Now for Ezra, to support him, my husband was coming and going out of town at the time. He didn't know how big I would need this piece of wood. It's quite large. Eventually we will cut this section off of it, but not this year. Again, it is screwed onto this piece here. This is actually an IKEA spice rack. Lots of people use them as little bookshelves. We had a bunch of those around, so we used this. Put some brackets here. I still have to paint these black, and that holds Ezra pretty steady. Again, if something happens to Ezra, I can unscrew these. This piece will come off, and I can put another one over top, and this can remain on the board. Now for into the ground, these metal pieces my husband put on, and they are for fence posts. There's also a rebar that goes down into the grass. We do get quite a bit of wind here. So in addition, my husband put these triangular pieces on, weighed them down with brick. That makes everything really nice and steady. I have my black light all set up. I'm so happy how it turned out. I'll see you again soon.
Sugar